Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to She Boss Talk. I am Shantae Arati coming on with another update regarding the student loan borrower forgiveness and cancellation programs. So I'm going to be giving you an update on what the Biden administration and the Department of Education have done and are doing, as well as talk about some of the seven opportunities that are out there to get forgiveness and student loan cancellation. Okay, you can use the word interchangeably. But this seems to be a very popular topic. Why? Because most of us have some type of a student loan that is outstanding that needs to be paid. And this is one of the key areas that people have credit issues, and that is a barrier to building wealth for ourselves. So this is for everyone that has a student loan. If you know someone that has a student loan or that is paying it back, that's in default, whatever the case may be, this is the program for you. Now, I have already done like 3 videos on the student loan forgiveness and cancellation programs that are available. So the last one I did was on the $6 billion that was automatically canceled due to a settlement with, I believe, Navient. So it was due to a settlement, a lawsuit, and so many borrowers have the opportunity to get automatic forgiveness through that settlement program as a defense claim. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about the public service worker forgiveness and the waiver. So that is something I'm going to highlight today because that's huge. Many of you all have at some point in your career worked in public service, and whether you know it or not, that time in public service goes towards helping you get your student loans forgiven, right? So whether it is partial or full forgiveness, there are programs that are out there that I want to make sure you know about so you can go take advantage of. A lot of things have been done to improve the programs. A lot of temporary measures have been put in place. So know that it's temporary means it's not permanent, meaning it's not forever, meaning that there is a timeline on actions you may need to take in order to get student loan forgiveness or cancellation. Okay, so I see many of you all tuning in. Shout out to everyone that's here. Shout out to our She Boss Tribe members. Welcome to everyone who is new to She Boss Talk. We're so glad you're here. Let us know who you are, where you're hailing from, what your business is. Let us know if you have a student loan. Let us know if you have a student loan, how much in outstanding debt do you want to get canceled? So let me know that in the comments. As always, you will find the resources, direct links in the video description. I will also put them in the comment. I will also answer questions following this broadcast as well. Be sure to give this a like, a thumbs up, share this out, tag who you need to tag, and we are going to go ahead and get started. Again, you want to go back and watch the other videos that are on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. You can just hit the search button or go to the videos and you'll see like our latest videos that are there because there's other information there that I won't go into all the details here today in this program. So we're talking about, again, updates and 7 ways to get student loan forgiveness. But I want to give you an update from the Biden administration. So they recently announced several new proposed changes in addition to the ones that they have already implemented. Okay, so these will be to the federal student loan system, including measures to help discharge loans for physically and mentally disabled borrowers, limit interest capitalization. Now, limit capitalization of interest on these loans is a huge issue because that is what keeps us buried under the debt, meaning really it is near impossible to that's how it's been set up. So it's near impossible for a borrower, as much as they're paying on their student loans, to pay it off. And I said before that President Biden stated that the student loan program was never set up, or should not have ever been set up, so that it is a lifelong burden to borrowers, right? So as much as you're paying on it and you're looking at your student loan, like for an example, one student loan borrower the loan was like $73,000. And when he calculated everything he paid, it was $190 thousand. Okay. But because of the capitalization, guess how much he owed? $275,000 on a $75,000 loan. And it's like, okay, as much as he's paying for it, when are you ever going to get out from under this debt? So these are things that they are working on, okay? And helping borrowers working as public service employees to earn forgiveness on their loans. So in a statement unveiling this proposed expansion of student loan discharge programs, the Department of Education said it expects to finalize a full plan by November the 1st. So if you're like me, you're going to mark your calendar for November the 1st. We need to be monitoring for these different programs and announcements to come out so we know how and when it's going to affect our student loans. Okay. And I know there's a lot expected at the beginning of 2023 under the current plan that has already gone into effect and is already being implemented. And so that the changes are to take effect no later than July the 1st. Okay, so these are recent changes that they announced. So I will keep you updated on that. So let me just bring you all up to date for those that are new to this. So there's a big push for like massive sweeping changes and student loan cancellation. Like everybody wants all student loan canceled, but not everybody, right? But student loan borrowers who's been burdened with debt. And so there's been many proposals, many bills put forth, and the president is right now considering what he is going to do as far as across the board, like forgiveness, right? And he's playing around $10,000 for targeted student loan borrowers. And there's others, members of Congress and other advocates that are calling for 50,000 or more, or just canceling everybody's student loan. Okay. In the meantime, while they're working on figuring that out, and while we're getting ready to see if they're going to extend the moratorium on student loan repayments, they have already begun doing many different things that has caused several $billion in student loan debt to be totally canceled. And I shared one of those testimonials on one of my previous student loan videos. So I'm going to talk about, again, some of these programs that are already existent. The income driven repayment plans. We all know that there's, people talk about the problems with them, but one of the things that this program allows for, depending on which program you're under, will allow for you to get your loan forgiven after 20 years or 25 years, right, of paying or on the agreement. So they improved this program as well, right? So they made improvements so that it will expedite many of our forgiveness, because there was not any real process in place by student loan servicers to track all of our payments. So no matter what forgiveness program you were part of, no one was really tracking it to make the determination if you were on track, or how many, more payments, or how many more years you have until you can actually get forgiveness, right? So that means what? There are millions of student loan borrowers who have already met the requirement that didn't get their student loan forgiveness. So they're fixing that. So they're making it where all of this will be recorded. It will be fully transparent. You will know, the administration will know, the Department of Education will know, and all the student loan servicers will know what is happening and where you are in your student loan repayment towards your forgiveness program. And so I mentioned in previous videos that I'm expecting, like, one of mine by early 2023 to get the notice that it has been forgiven, because not only that, they have actually gone and given credits, accounting for time that you weren't even in the income driven repayment program, time that where you may have been in forbearance or deferment. They're taking in consideration all of those years, right? Time that you paid outside of the program. All of that goes to expediting your student loan cancellation. Okay. And so that is huge. So for all of those saying, "Oh, I'm in an income-driven program, and what does that mean? I still have to pay, and the interest rates." We get on that. So I'm explaining to you what the improvements are that's going to push that further along so you can get that student loan forgiveness. But you want to make sure that you're in a income driven plan. And you can go directly to studentaid.gov. That's where you can find most, if not all, of these student loan forgiveness programs on the website. That's an official. I always tell you, if it doesn't have .gov, you are on the wrong website. So this is a federal government website for education, for student loan applicants and borrowers. So be sure to go there to look up all this information that I won't necessarily be able to go in the detail, but information on each of the programs and how to apply, what makes you qualify, all of that information is there. Okay. So I'm going to mention the Fresh Start program, because for those of you that are in default, were, let me know if you have seen a change or received some type of notification that you are part of the Fresh Start program, because I know they initiated it. I don't know how long it's going to take for it to roll out to the millions of businesses that are currently in default, right? Because you want to get out of default so that you can enter these types of programs. So go and apply for forgiveness. You can't do it while you're still in default. So that is a big program that I talked about that was announced months back, that all student loans that are in default will be automatically removed. And so then that will allow you to get apply for these various types of programs. Okay. So if your student loan, if you are part of the Fresh Start program, or you notice that you're out of default automatically, let me know in the comments. Okay. Another one is for total and permanent disability. So there was a problem with these programs. There was just a lot of red tape that people that are disabled had to go through. They weren't getting forgiveness. Their applications was just sitting on somebody's desk or drawer, wherever it was, and they weren't being moved. And then there was a requirement that disabled people had to like recertify or just do things that were really unnecessary, that caused them not to give forgiveness or lose their ability to give forgiveness. And so all of that was removed. Okay. And so further improvements are being made, as I just mentioned earlier, to those programs. So if you are someone that is totally and permanently disabled and has a student loan, please look out for information on these programs. Please reach out to the education department, or go to the studentaid.gov website and start, getting information so you know what to do in order to apply for forgiveness. So if you have not applied for forgiveness and you are totally and permanently disabled, this is a program you may qualify for. So you want to apply. So those that had applied and were having issues, those are definitely being resolved. And then those newer applications, these improvements will have a positive impact on your application, right? And so you don't have to keep like reporting in every year, every 3 years to make sure that you meet the qualifications of the program. So that's really important. So it's good to have advocates too, like family, close friends, or neighbors that can help you, right, through this process. There's also teachers forgiveness, right? So if you've never heard of forgiveness, it kind of falls under the public service loan forgiveness program. But this is for each full-time, this is if you teach full-time for 5 complete and consecutive years in a certain elementary or secondary schools, or educational service agencies that serve low-income families and meet their qualifications. You may be eligible for forgiveness up to, on your federal student loans, right? Up to $17,500. So you can get the full details on about the program under the student loan forgiveness program. So the teacher loan forgiveness program is what that is. And then let's talk about the public service loan forgiveness program that I spoke about before. So for those that don't know, if you work full time for a government or nonprofit organization, you may qualify for forgiveness of the entire remaining balance of your direct loans after you've made 120 qualifying payments, or that is 10 years of payments. So to benefit from this program, you should repay your federal student loans under the income-driven repayment program, income-driven payment program, right? If you're interested in this type of program, then you use the tool to generate the form to submit a MOHELA to the public service loan forgiveness servicer. If you have been denied the loan forgiveness under this program because one or all of the payments you made under the direct loans were under non-qualifying repayments, you might be eligible for temporary expanded public service loan forgiveness. Okay, so you can find information on the website, but I'm going to go here. I'm going to talk about the waiver because this is so important. So let me share my screen really quickly. And this is where you have to take action regarding this if you want to pursue forgiveness. Okay, so I'm waiting for it to come up on my screen. Don't worry if you can't read it all. I'm reading, and you can just go to the website to where this is, and you'll see Federal Student Aid and Office of the U.S. Department of Education. Okay, so on this page right here is talking about the PSLF waiver offers a way to get closer to your student loan forgiveness. So I said that they're already creating waivers and changing the rules temporarily to expedite the efforts to get student loan forgiveness. And this has a significant impact. I have peers that went from having to wait 3 years till in 2 months they get total forgiveness of their remaining balance of their student loans. So it says on October the 6th of 2021, the U.S. Department of Education announced the change to the public service loan forgiveness program rules for a limited time as a result of the COVID-19 emergency. And throughout the emergency, the Department of Education provided various benefits to borrowers. Okay, so now it says, and they put this in bold, for a limited time, borrowers may receive credit for past periods of repayment that would otherwise not qualify for this program. So there's a note here. If you are new to this program, you want some background on the program, you can visit the PSLF information page. Okay, so it says our announcement about the waiver has generated great interest and many questions, including how it affects you. We are hard at work reviewing and updating student loan accounts to address these major changes, and some borrowers have already received forgiveness. So if you're one of the ones that have already received forgiveness, no matter what kind it is, please let us know in the comments so people know that this is happening and we can, congratulate and celebrate you. Okay. So they're advising you and highly encourage you to take advantage of these opportunities while you have a chance. Now, here are some key points of the changes. Again, this is for the public service worker loan forgiveness program. For a limited time, you may receive credit for past periods of repayment on loans that would otherwise not qualify. If you have a federal family education program loans, Perkin, or federal student loans, you'll need to consolidate your loan into a direct consolidation loan to qualify for the public service worker loan forgiveness. Both in general and under the waiver, before consolidating, make sure to check to see if you worked for a qualifying employer. Okay, so you can always go to your employer, go back to your employer and make sure they are a qualifying employer, right? Or look at the eligibility requirements for what is considered a public service worker. You can find that here as well. Past periods of repayment will now count whether or not you made a payment. made that payment on time, full for the full amount due, or on a qualifying repayment plan. Okay, so let me repeat that. Past periods of repayment will now count whether or not you made a payment. So if you didn't make a payment, it accounts. If you made a payment, it accounts. If you made that payment on time, it counts. If you made for the full amount due or not, it counts. Or on a qualifying repayment plan, such as the income-driven repayment plans. Forbearance periods of 12 consecutive months or greater, or 36 cumulative months or greater, will count under the waiver. In the fall of 2022, the Department of Education will begin making account adjustments to include these periods. Forbearance periods provided by the COVID-19 emergency relief flexibilities are not included towards these months, okay? So again, forbearance periods of 12 months or greater, or 36 cumulative months or greater, will count under this waiver. Months spent in deferment before 2013 will count under this waiver. Additionally, the Department of Education will include economic hardship deferment on or after January 1st of 2013, and these periods of deferment will also be applied to your account in the fall of 2022. Okay? Periods of default and in-school deferment will not qualify for this particular program. Okay, and so there's a note here that qualifying employment requirement has not changed. So that requirement has not changed. So determine if your employer qualifies. They actually have an employer search tool that you can use. Okay, now this is really important as far as the new rules for qualifying payments. Under the temporary rules, meaning it's not permanent, you have to act now, okay? Act quickly. Any prior period of repayment will count as a qualifying period, regardless of the loan, repayment plan, or whether payment was made in full on time, but you continue to need qualifying employment. This change will apply to borrowers with direct loans, as I mentioned, those who have already consolidated into the direct loan program, and those who consolidate into the direct loan program by October 31st of 2022. So please mark down that date, highlight it, put it on your calendar. So you need to have consolidated into a direct loan program by October 31st of 2022. Don't wait till October 31st to do this. Don't wait till October 1st to do this. If this is something that applies to you, and you do not have a direct loan, a consolidated loan, let's do it now. Right? Don't wait until the last minute and then the time runs out and you're not able to get in it, where then now you can have the waiver, which would then expedite your student loan cancellation. So the periods of repayment on the Parent Plus loans are not eligible under limited public service worker loan forgiveness waiver, and they tell you to see below on the additional information. Okay, and so I will allow you all to read. You can go to the website and read more for yourself. I will make sure that it's on there, and it's even telling you that like which program requirements are being waived. Okay, normal requirements, and then changes on the right side. Right, so here are the normal, the regular, and here are the changes that we just went over. Right, and then if you scroll down, they let you know what is unchanged as far as the requirements for the program. But this is important for you to know, again, because I get a lot of questions, and many of you are reaching out to me that were public service workers or are asking how to get for your loans forgiven. This is how you do it. So you need to make sure you're moving forward with taking action steps on these programs. So this is huge. So we know a lot of you all that are in the military. So If you have military service, you have an opportunity. You have many educational benefits and opportunities to get student loan forgiveness. And what it says is an acknowledgement of your service to our country. There are special benefits and repayment options for student loans available by the U.S. Department of Education. This includes interest rates caps on the Service Member Civil Relief Act, Department of Defense student loan repayment programs, and you can learn more going through, your U.S. Armed Forces. So whether, it doesn't matter what armed forces, the Army, the Navy, or other, reach out to them too, so you can find out about these programs that are available to you. AmeriCorps is another program. How many of you all have participated in AmeriCorps? Now, these are the Siegel AmeriCorps Education Award is a benefit provided by participants who complete a term of national service in an approved AmeriCorps program. I know we have this here, right? AmeriCorps program, AmeriCorps Vista, AmeriCorps NCCC, AmeriCorps State and National. After you successfully complete your service, you are eligible to receive the Siegel AmeriCorps Education Award, which can be used to what? Repay qualified student loans. Okay? I know there's also relief programs and forgiveness programs for police officers. So in addition to this, what I would encourage you all to do, those of you that are still working 9 to 5s, is that many companies are already have educational, like scholarships, grants, and other types of programs for when you want to pursue education. But more and more are also creating forgiveness and cancellation programs. So whether it's giving you a partial cancellation or full cancellation through your employer. So sometimes that these benefits are not regularly broadcast. So you have to be proactive and take initiative. And I would first start with your HR department and ask what types of programs, benefits are there for student loan borrowers or that are anticipated. So maybe they don't have it right now, but they are working on something, and they can let you know that, and when it's going to be presented or implemented, so you can be mindful and on the lookout for when that happens. But I do know, I heard about companies that are already doing this, right? So employers often offer many types of benefits, and this can be a great one for you to be able to take advantage of as well. And I already mentioned the defense claim. If you feel like you were defrauded by an institution, or they made you they overpromised and under delivered, there are certain criteria that needs to be met. But on the student aid website, you can look over and see what the qualifications are, and if you believe that your college defrauded you in some way, then you can submit an application. Now, what I have found is that some people are sending me screenshots that they are being told that the period has expired. So if it has, it has, right? But look for if there's a contact number, customer service number, where you can get assistance. There's not much more I can do but to point you in the direction of the website and their contact information to see what it is that you can do. But if you were if you went or attended one of the more than 50 colleges, universities, and technical schools that are on the list of the settlement agreement, then you have recourse, right? They have already been designated as having committed some fault, right? That could possibly entitle you to cancellation, right? So even if you applied and were denied before, right, they're going to reinstate your application. So that's why I said go back to the other videos that I did especially the last one on on the settlement and the 60 billion of in student loans that were just automatically being forgiven, meaning there's nothing you have to do, no actions you have to take. So a lot of that is happening across the board. So I'm sure some of you all that are watching here today have been recipients of some of those automatic forgiveness. And stay tuned, because again, there are many of them. So you may not have heard, but you will be hearing. So be on the lookout for your mail. Don't throw your mail away. Please pay attention to your email. Don't ignore those emails that are coming to your inbox, because I know my student loan servicer has been sending out emails regularly about all of these programs. And the latest one was on the public service worker loan forgiveness, which I think is great that they're taking that action to notify us, because there's still so many that don't know or haven't taken the steps, and there is a line on on these waivers. So you definitely want to make sure that you're in to be able to get it, and you're taking all the necessary steps. So please don't ignore those emails. Look at your emails, because I can tell you that's one of the biggest reasons that many of you all continue to miss out on opportunities, is just you're not looking at your emails. And you need to check both your inbox and your spam folders and your promotional folders. I don't know how your inbox is set up, but especially if you're using personal emails, right? Like that has the Gmail extension on the end or the Yahoo extension on the end, that is a personal email. And a lot of times emails, they are important and they will go to spam, or they will be categorized under promotional, and you need to adjust your settings so you see your promotional folders. Go to your settings, okay? Because I can guarantee you have important information that's going there, and you're gonna be stunned to see that there was opportunities that you missed out on because they didn't hit your inbox. Okay, so this is too important. There's just so many people that need help with their student loans that are asking us every day that we be proactive as well, and that we stay on top of what's happening so that we don't miss out. So that's why I'm here to share this information with you all. I see the comments out here, and Damara saying anyone who went to Corinthian colleges were just given forgiveness on their loans in June and July. And they're still doing this. So over 28K, it was all Corinthian loans. Yeah. So, I mean, over 50 colleges. And I know one of our peers said 3 of the schools she went to, 2 or 3 of them she attended. So it is in her best interest to be proactive and get in the know of what's happening and reach out and see if one is automatic, right? And typically is automatic if you had already had like an application in. So if you never applied, that means what? You need to get your applications in. Another one right here, like, so one of it said she's saying hunt for justice. 2 of the institutions for defense applications she attended, but the lawsuits appeared to be dates after she attended. Okay, so I don't know if you have already applied or were attempting to apply, but again, this is for one settlement, one lawsuit, and a settlement of that lawsuit, right? So you may be able to get a defense claim that's outside of the lawsuit. That I don't know. You have to research a little bit deeper. We have another community member saying that she did a year at AmeriCorps, right? That can be a great program for especially a lot of young people. I think they have an age requirement on there. Nurses, depending on, someone is asking about nurses, can they give student loans? It depends on what loan you took out. If it falls into one of these categories, you may be able to. I know there may be ones pertaining to medical, or even through your company, right? So that when I say company, hospital, right? Or health organization that you work through, there may be a program. So I would definitely look into that, and I would go visit the studentaid.gov website as well. Because I do know there's some other programs, especially if you're working in the medical industry, again, in low income or areas, you may qualify. Yeah. If we don't do our research, yeah. You got to do your research. You got to be proactive. But a lot of these things are being are automatic. Like I said, the Fresh Start program, there's nothing you really need to do. You do need to take action. You need to monitor for when it happens, so that you and research, right? So what program are you going to get into once you come out of default? That's going to be huge. That's going to have a huge positive impact on your credit, but you don't want it to start and end there. You have to figure out what program are you going into. So are you going into an income driven program? Are you going to apply for the public service worker program, right? Or some other forgiveness program that is available? Let me see. Someone is speaking on the moratorium needing to be extended. So let me know if you want it to be extended. It's been extended several times, and I said my thought on this is that they're extending it until to allow them to make these improvements to allow for more forgiveness and cancellation, and so that they can figure out what across the board they're going to do as far as, you know, executive action, what the president is going to do on executive action. Because he can't get this automatic, everything is canceled from a congressional vote. So that's why he is pursuing the executive action and then improvements of these programs and waivers like this. So that's why they're temporary, to let you be able to get your forgiveness. Yeah, so someone is saying it sounds like a lifelong setup. That's going back to the example I gave about the gentleman that spent he paid on his student loans, and like he's still paying. Like it did not put a dent whatsoever in it. I mean, I can even speak from experience. Like, you know, my combined student loan for undergrad and my master's is 90,000. And it wasn't 90,000. I mean, it's the interest on it, right? And I'm in an income driven program, so we know it's not enough to be in an income driven program. The process needs to work the way it's supposed to work, and so the steps that they have taken, right, to get us to forgiveness, is amazing, because I know for my undergrad, it should be forgiven, because I mean I've already been either on the program or paying or in deferment for 20 years. 20 years. I mean, and if nothing ever changed, in the next 20 years, it would still be the same. And none of these programs, it should be set up that way, where it's just a lifelong burden of debt. You know, how they set these programs up is, and the interest, like it should never take somebody their whole life to pay off any type of debt. It is how they treat the interest. That's why when people talk about interest is not all equal. Okay, so people are like, oh, that's high interest, or this interest is not all interest. When you look at the capitalization and how it's set up, where you can never get from up under the debt. Like, nobody signed up for this, and nobody knows this. When you're trying to pursue your education, you're trying to provide for yourself and your family. You're trying to get skills so you can get some good pay. And you know, you're young. I mean, I didn't know any of this when I, you know, went to college and decided to get a student loan. I did not know that it would take a lifetime to be able to pay off the debt. And it shouldn't be that way, period. So I'm looking at some of your comments. Thank you all so much. Again, tag and share. Like, and I like that many of my peers are sharing this information, but I find that when they're sharing, nobody's really paying attention. So it helps to tag people. right? And to share out these videos, but tag them or text them or send it to them an email if you know that that they were a public service worker. Be like, hey, did you know about this? Did you check it out? Did you follow the steps yet? Do something like that, because we don't want to leave money on the table. This is another way that we cannot leave money on the table, by taking advantage of these programs. So, know that things are happening behind the scenes, but if you don't understand them, if nobody's sharing them with you, you don't even know. You assume that nothing is happening. So, I mean, I hear this chitter chatter online, and I'm just like, they are misinformed, right? Or uninformed, because they just don't know what's happening. But I'm a researcher. I dig into what is actually happening, so I can bring it to you and put it in layman's terms, so in ways that you can understand, and you can go after it and benefit. I mean, that's huge. I mean, if some of you on here are going to be able to just go and get student loan forgiveness, and like, you can expect in the next week, in the next month, and through the beginning and mid of next year, many of you all that are on here are going to see that your student loans have been canceled. And I mean, for my master's, I received my master's in 2011. In 2011. So, I mean, it's already over 10 years of the 20 years that I'm in the income driven program. Right. So, but if they're accounting for all these credits and things, that's even going to push that up even more. Right. So I'm ready for all that to be done, because that is the only debt that I have, period. So that would be a huge relief for me. Okay. So I hope this has been helpful. I'm just looking to see if there are any questions. I see you all out there putting your loan. We're just claiming student loan cancellation. I'm hopeful that everybody that needs to see this video will see this video and go take the action they need to take for themselves. Oh, so one person, she has 100,000 in student loan, and her loan, the principal is only 52,000. I mean, you're not alone. I mean, there's many of us like that. Just these balloon payments, and it's just like, you just never get from up under it, right? We have another one that went to ITT Tech. Is huge. They're on the list for the settlement. You're on the list, so I don't know if you already had your application or for your defense claim, or if you had your application for defense claim that was initially denied, or you hadn't put in an application. But take action, because they are on the list. They're in the settlement. So ITT Tech, you all can get yours forgiven, and some of you already is having it automatically forgiven. Okay, so I explained all of that, the process and how that works, in the $6 billion student loan cancellation video. Okay, so I think that's all that I have. I don't see any more questions. I continue to post them below. Continue to tag people. Oh, okay. So Hunter for Justice applied on July 7th after she found out from watching our videos. Okay, good. That's what I want you to do, is to go take action. It's saying that there's a rumor that states once you sue your previous school for loan forgiveness, they can choose whether or not to give you official transfer. I don't know anything about that. Nobody should have that choice to give you official transcript or not. You should, first of all, you should already go get it before you should already have an official transcript from your school. And if you haven't, go order one. Right. But I have not heard that. I don't know if that's true or not. There's another question. Should a person apply for student loan forgiveness by consolidating their loan if they were in loan forgiveness for over 15 years? I don't know what program you're in, but I would go to the studentaid.gov website. I can't answer that because I don't know what student loan program you're in. And that you're in a forgiveness program for 15 years. What program is that? I would do some more research on that. Someone is asking, have I heard about Nelnet? I don't remember if it was on the list or not, but I went through the entire list and linked it in the last student loan video, the $6 billion student loan cancellation video. So you can go there, and there's a list of 50 plus schools. Other than that, you would go to the studentaid.gov website and go to the defense claim. That is also, that direct link is in that video as well, and see if you can file a defense claim. If you have not, I think it's the statute of limitations. Some people were saying it was outside the statute of limitations, so it depends on when you went to the school. There's a number of factors, so look into that. All right. So again, people are asking how to apply. Everything is linked in the video as always. All resources are always linked in the video. Go to the website, do additional research, mark your calendars for those deadline dates. Make sure that you get your applications in. Make sure that you consolidate your loan if you're a public service worker and you haven't done that yet, because you have until October the 31st of 2022 to do it. To get all the benefits under the waiver. That is huge. Okay. And then, as I say, as always, please come back and share your testimonials with us because we want to celebrate and congratulate you. Continue to be the boss with Amplify Impact. Is the beginning of the week. Let's go make it happen. Go achieve some goals for ourselves. And again, let's get student loan cancellation for everyone who needs it, that can benefit from it. You all have a wonderful day.